Heyo! Welcome to another episode of Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I am a mysteriously masked villager hiding in the fog down by the corner. Come closer, I beckon.
What is your name?
Doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, hi. Also co-host Drusilla Adeline. Sorry, I'm just trying to do the bit.
There we are.
I just have to do a bit.
You stuck too closely to the surrealist bit this time. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I have been seeing a bunch of movies and working a lot, so I'm like right in my lane. I am happy, I am healthy, I am well fed, I am doing all of the things. I have a lot of cool, exciting projects that I just wrapped up that will be announced soon, which is nice. After what feels like a year of like stagnant, like starts and stops on a lot of things. But for the most part, I mean, things are running ship-shape. I'm very excited about this week's episode, but we will get into that when we get into that. What about you? I will say, I did get to see something this past week that like made me think of you a lot because I thought you would find it really interesting. It was very much about authorship and 70s cult movies, and it was this play that's like significantly about Messiah of Evil, which I know you're a fan of. I don't remember who wrote this play. But you would like him a lot.
It was me, and I do like him a lot. I wish I liked him more. Yes, I have been a very busy bee because I had a staged reading of my first new play in almost a decade, a play called Point Doom, which is about horror movies and Messiah of Evil and a satire of mental health therapy speak culture. And Drusilla was kind enough to be in attendance, and it was a great night. It made me feel very inspired again. Just about theater but also in general, like it went well, and I was worried that it wouldn't. And whenever something like that happens, it just is like a little shot in the arm that I very much needed.
It went like so fucking well. It was outrageously funny. The cast was incredible. The audience was like perfectly in tune. I said this to you like off mic, but I mostly know your writing as a screenwriter and as like a fan of like your like the short films that you have made and the like TV series that you have written. Big fan of all of that stuff. But I had not been able to experience anything that you'd written for a live audience before in that way. And as someone who has like a significantly smaller but still like a little bit of background with theater, both like performing and directing, there's a totally different language and rhythm to theater and the way that things need to move to keep an audience's attention and to like balance out audiences' like reactions and expectations to things. And that really just feels like riding a bike to you. It really just feels like the most natural thing in the world, like listening to the way the dialogue moves, listening to the way that the scenes move. The audience is right on every single point. Like you get a laugh, you get a moment, you get a beat. It is like, for that to be like the first reading is insane. It like,
thank you.
Moved
I also
like
wrote
music.
that play in a week, literally a week. I started on Monday and the reading was on Saturday. That's very nice to hear. Thank you very much. It is very healing in a way because I quit theater. I was in New York for many years and I wanted to be a playwright. That was my first love. And I had a really rough go of it because my very first play in my 20s was like a huge hit as far as downtown theater goes. And I got an agent and I was like, for one moment, I was going to be like the it playwright. And then it all just fell apart basically. And then for 10 years, every play I wrote got really bad reviews or, all of this sort of stuff. So I just got really hurt. And for years, there's been like a psychic block for me about writing a play. Like I'd start and I just couldn't finish. So I kind of tricked myself into writing a play by writing about Messiah of Evil. That was like the way that I tricked my own psychology into finishing a play. And so to have a play again and for it to be received so warmly by an audience, it felt really great. And it was actually, in a cheesy way, very healing for me.
I hope it is. I hope you can finally get over your trauma and like accept that you are talented. You are in some ways the Orson Welles of modern queer underground theater. Had a big hit up front.
I don't know what that means. Oh, I see. Yeah. And yeah, it felt good. I also finished my film last week too, so it was like a really big week.
Oh my god!
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with that thing. I don't know where it belongs, if any place, but it was a really good week after a string of like pretty hard times. You know, things are really hard for writers in Hollywood right now, and it was brutal, and so it was good to have like a good week.
I'm so glad that you've been able to have this. I hope you're able to ride this trajectory out for a little bit and keep this creative spirit going, and don't allow yourself to languish in the like postpartum depression of having finished creative projects. I'll just allow that energy to keep you going.
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah. You look good. You like it's radiating off of you.
Oh, thanks. How was your week? What did you watch?
It's been good. So I went to the theater a fuck ton of late, and there are 2 new European horror movies I want to tell you about before we talk about the one big European horror movie we're here to talk about. Anyway, so we went to the theater 2 nights in a row to see 2 different modern Euro horror movies. The first is a French film from Adrian Beau that is an adaptation of the Tolstoy short story that Mario Bava used in Black Sabbath, the Vourdalak.
Okay.
And so it's like very much like an Eastern European kind of folk horror vampire story. If you're not familiar with the Bava movie, it's the one with Boris Karloff, and he's like the patriarch of a small family, and like vampirism infects the whole family. It has been like brought out to feature length. It is a very like fun period production design and cinematography. A lot of like billowy glam filters on a lot of the characters. We get a lot of like dandy fop makeup and costuming, which is lovely. But then the titular Vourdalak, the vampire of the film, the patriarch of this like small family that lives in the middle of nowhere, it's really hard to like go up against like the only other main cinematic depiction of this is Boris Karloff. Like, who are they going to get that's going to have that gravitas? So instead, he's played by a puppet.
Interesting.
It's like an inversion on those Muppet movies where it's like Tim Curry and a bunch of Muppets. This is a bunch of French actors and then one puppet as the aging father of the family who is now a vampire. And who was like seducing the family.
Does it play as campy or is it earnest and creepy?
It's both.
Okay.
It's like genuinely unsettling while also like the puppet has a sex scene. Like this it's being put out theatrically by Oscilloscope Pictures, Oscilloscope Laboratories, I should say, who always bring such incredible weird shit to the table, and this absolutely falls into line. This movie is weird. It was a lot of fun, and it fucking worked for me. I was a little like tepid about it because I was like, the Bava version of this is like half the runtime, a lot more popular. I've seen it a bunch of times. Like, how are we going to compete with this? And then fan of the show and frequent listener, our friend Jose, is the one who was like, you know, the father's played by a puppet, right? And I was like, 2 tickets, please.
Wait, what's the name of this movie?
The Vourdalak, Vourdalak.
Okay.
So I think the title really cool. is not helping it get US release. It was really hard to see. We caught it in its like final day at the Limley going across LA, but knowing it's Oscilloscope, it'll probably pop on the Criterion channel or some form of streaming within the next few months. Definitely recommend it. I think you in particular would enjoy it. It's a very like cozy, idiosyncratic 90 minutes, and I think you would have a lot of fun with it.
That sounds good.
However, the banger of the week and the banger of the horror season right now, I think, so far, that I think you're gonna love is an Irish film, which is the second feature from the director Damien McCarthy, and it's called Oddity. It's like co-distributed by IFC and Shudder, so it's in theaters right now, and then it will eventually go to Shudder, not unlike Late Night with the Devil or a handful of other things. And it's so great. It is so Josh coded, it hurts. You're going to love this movie.
The same thing to me
so much. So it is almost entirely in one location, which is an old castle in Scotland that's been renovated by a doctor who works at a loony bin in the nearby town. We'll just call it an asylum, but I'll use the film's kind of language. Who's like restoring it with his wife. And when he's at work one day and his wife is sleeping there alone, a man comes to the door and says, "You need to let me in. Someone is inside with you who's going to kill you."
Ooh,
and she's like, that. Of course I'm not going to let you in. And then it cuts to like 2 years later or a year later or something. And we meet that woman's blind twin sister who runs an oddity shop and who is psychic.
Oh my God.
Talking with the sister's husband, being like, "I can't believe it's the 1 year anniversary of her death. Can't believe that guy broke in and murdered her. How did that happen?" And so she's going to spend the anniversary of her sister's death also in the house to try and figure out what happened. And it's supernatural. It's a murder mystery. It's a home invasion movie. It genuinely scared the ever-loving shit out of me. There's one scene in the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything by saying what the scene is, but there's a scene in the movie that's just building and building and building and building with so much tension that right before it's about to be released, the like 30 seconds or so before, I was sitting in my fucking theater seat shaking, and my subconscious brain was like, "You need to leave. You need to get out of the theater. You're not safe here. You need to leave." You like, my body was trying so hard to get up and run out of the theater because I was like, I can't take this. This is too far for me.
That sounds so good.
I stayed.
Horny for this movie.
I think you're gonna love it. It's really, really, really fun. It pays off everything it sets up in such a like satisfying way, but not in a like save the cat kind of way. There's like spirit photography. There's so many good like De Palma Hitchcock like filmic bits that like capture you and make you forget about things, and they like pull the rug out from under you. It's like a genuinely good murder mystery while also being like a really good supernatural story. There's a wooden golem, there's a trap door, there's a home invasion, there's an asylum. People get their heads split open at points where it's like, how was anyone there for this to happen? It's great. Oh
my God.
Think you're going to love it. I really want to see it again. Our friend Jose, who you just mentioned, and I just mentioned on Vourdalak, has now seen it 3 times in theaters.
He's the one who texted me at this, around the same time as you did. It was like, "Josh, this movie is so you have to watch it ASAP." And I actually told him I was going to watch it that night, but then there was something wrong with my Apple TV and I didn't. So I'm going to watch it this weekend. I'm super excited about it.
I mean, as soon as I see a like blind psychic, I'm like, Josh should see this movie.
That's very Josh.
With like milky white contacts, you're like, yeah.
That's extremely me, for sure.
I think you would love it. It's really, really great.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that. I haven't been really watching anything. I started Fantasmas on HBO, which I'm really enjoying. It's the new Julio Torres show. I think. Did you watch it yet?
I did. I watched the final episode of it the night I went to see your play. And they
Oh,
dovetail really well together, actually.
I bet. Yeah. Julio Torres is like one of my artist crushes. I feel like I have like a similar point of view as him in some ways. But he's younger and hotter and richer. I love him. I love the show so far. It's not really scratching the Los Spookies place for me.
No, it
But I
doesn't.
think nothing ever will again, really. Like it's
Yeah.
sort of a miracle that we got 2 seasons of that show. But I'm really enjoying it nonetheless.
I feel like this is closer in tone to Problemista, his movie from earlier this year.
Yeah, which I liked.
Which is very good. It's in the top like ranking of my movies of the year so far. It's very good. Speaking of movies that are really good and that I saw for the first time recently, do you want to talk about something fucking weird?
Yes, I'm dying to. This is a movie that you picked. It is from 1982, directed by Jean-Pierre Macchi. It is called Litan, the City of Green Ghosts, or the City of Green Specters, or La Cité des Spectres Verts.
Fuir Litan, le plus vite possible.
Tu devrais y penser si tu crois une vie après la mort.
Oui. I had never heard of this until you picked it. Where did you hear about this?
I had also never heard of this until Radiance Films, who is listeners of the show, actually, just put out a box set of 3 films by Jean-Pierre Macchi, including this film, along with Kill the Referee and Agent Trouble with Catherine Deneuve. And I was like, I've never heard of this guy. That's like a big French director with like a huge body of work that I've never heard of. What is this? And I started looking into it. And I was like, all of these are radically different kinds of movies. And one of them is a folk horror movie. I need to see this. And then like in the middle of me ordering it, Severin put out an announcement being like, US customers, don't buy this. If you want Litan, we're going to be putting out in a box set soon, curated by Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched. You love her so much,
Kayla Janice,
in a box set curated by Kayla Janice, and I was like, oh, Kayla Janice loves this movie. Okay, and then I also saw the specs for the box set that it had a new essay on this movie by also friend of the show, Alexandra Heller Nicholas.
Whoa.
Which I just read. And I was like, all right, the pedigree of like people who love this movie is really exciting. And then I also saw like art house forum bros talking about how this movie's dog shit and it makes no sense. But then I also saw like how this was like his most popular movie on Letterboxd, and like Letterboxd people adore this movie. And I was like, this sounds way too much up my alley. So I like read nothing about it. I just blind bought the whole set. I want to see the other movies too, but it's like mostly for this one.
This is the only horror I understand.
This is the only horror. Kill the Referee is what I believe is an intense thriller. It's described as being reminiscent of Green Room and After Hours. And then Agent Trouble sounds more like a spy comedy. So we'll see. But he wrote movies for Georges Franju, who directed Eyes Without a Face. So like he's got a horror background. I like started looking up him after having watched this movie, and he started as an actor. He's one of the lead actors in this movie. He's very attractive. You understand why he was an actor. But he got his start behind the camera as an assistant director to Michelangelo Antonioni and Fellini, and then was like best friends with Godard. So you're like, okay, this is just one of those other guys. Was totally independent for like 60 years, and his movies never really made it over to the States. This, as of this recording, has never had a US release. It never had a US theatrical release, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. It's going to get one from Severin, I understand, but not yet.
That's so interesting to learn that from you, because as I was watching this, I was like, God, this reminds me so much of Godard's Weekend.
Yeah,
which is a
I can see
movie
that
I don't really like, but I do like this movie.
This movie's so bizarre because it's has
really weird.
The folk horror elements to it, and then it also has like what feels like pre-code, like Dr. X, like medical horror, supernatural stuff going on.
But it's also giving Don't Look Now a little bit.
It's giving Don't Look Now. It's giving After Hours to a large degree, especially in the back half. But then there is
Wickerman.
There's a good portion of Wickerman in there.
You've got some Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of stuff.
There's a little bit of Picnic at Hanging Rock going on in there too.
Yeah, it's like all the hits.
It's all the hits. Well, it's also like a folk horror movie from France, which we don't get a lot from France, but also a folk horror movie from the early 80s. We don't get a lot from the 80s. They kind of petered off by the late 70s.
Style. Yeah.
So it's all the pedigree around this is insanely fascinating. And so I very just selfishly proposed it for the podcast as just to get myself off my ass to watch the movie. And I finally, like earlier this week, had a really long day, and Ivory and I were doing a lot of work around the house, and it was like 10 o'clock, and she was like, maybe we should just turn in for the night. Like, we're both really tired. Like, and I was like, but like, I really need to watch this movie for the podcast. So let's just put it on. And we were exhausted, and we were like strung out. We'd been up since like 5 or 6 a.m. And within like 20 minutes, I was like leaned forward, like adrenaline all the way up. And then like by the end of the movie, I was like just talking nonstop. And she was like, shut up, it's midnight. We need to go to bed. You need to stop. So, anyway, this movie worked for me. Do you want to, how should we describe it? What is this movie?
So I guess you mean like the synopsis or the plot of it? Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing to say is that this is a surrealist film. So I'm going to describe it in the most concrete terms that I can, but that might make it sound like a linear plot-driven film, which it is not. So this is set in a small provincial village called Litan. It centers around a couple. The woman's name is Nora. The man's name is Jacques. It is the day of a regional celebration called the Day of Litan, which is like sort of a festival of the dead, not dissimilar from Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. So the whole village are out and about in weird masks, and it's very creepy. And right at the beginning of the movie, Nora wakes up from a nightmare that she believes is a premonition of her boyfriend's soon-to-be death. And he's in town because he's a geologist. He's working on a place called the Black Rocks. So she crosses town to go find him and warn him about this dream. And on the way, a bunch of really weird, menacing, surrealistic shit happens. She goes to the Black Rocks. And during this time, there's a bunch of Boy Scouts as part of this festival that are chasing a, quote, monster, which is a man in a mask. And one of them falls through a crack in the Black Rocks into an underground river and comes out seeming different. And so he goes to the hospital. They follow. Something weird is going on at the hospital. It feels like people are trying to cover something up. There's also like weird green glow or blue glow in the dark worms in the water that seem to be dissolving people. And before you know it, Nora and Jacques are kind of on the run from the people in the town. It feels very much like the San Francisco 70s Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, that's more plot driven and linear than the movie actually feels when you're inside of it.
Yeah. I mean, the movie, very much the setup of the movie is that she has a nightmare about bad things will happen to her boyfriend. And then the rest of the movie is a nightmare of bad things happening to them. So
yes. It feels very much like Mother by Aronofsky or Weekend by Godard. It's that. It's like a fever dream. It feels very stressful It feels relentless. It's not scary in the way that a traditional horror movie is scary. It just makes you feel bad and weird.
Yeah, there
weird things never stop happening.
There's like an abundance of fog. A cemetery gets exploded. There's a handful of murders, a lot of death, weird medical torture, scientific experiments going on.
People in masks everywhere, very Wickerman style.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very beautiful movie to look at. It's filmed in a gorgeous little medieval village, beautiful architecture and lots of, ivy covered walls and lots of moss and lots of fog. So it's very pretty.
Of fog. It's I should say it's the cinematographer in this movie is Edmond Richard, who is a really big French DP, most well known for not shooting Litan, but for shooting Orson Welles' The Trial and Chimes at Midnight, where you get a lot of these crazy wide-angle lenses that we're getting in Litan, but also for shooting the final 3 French films of Louis Buñuel, Screech on the Bourgeoisie, Obscure Object of Desire, Phantom of Liberty. So, like,
that makes sense.
The surreal, like, setting and storylines of Buñuel and the, like, extreme surreal visual language of Orson Welles with, like, crazy folk horror symbology mashing together. This movie is a fucking stunner visually.
It looks so beautiful. Could not be more beautiful. It's also like Don't Look Now, chic. Everyone looks great. Everyone's wearing cute clothes.
It's a lot of nice
cool
sweaters.
Yeah, a lot of beautiful overcoats. For me, I really like this movie. I would say that I admire this movie more than I like it. I find it challenging. I find this kind of movie challenging. So in that regard, it's not super fun for me to watch, but I did admire it. And I would say that I liked it and I would give it a good review, but it's not one that I would like watch again soon because it's too challenging.
I feel like there's 2 kinds of movies that I am just perpetually bringing to this show. And it is either like super cozy black and white American Hollywood studio films from the 1930s and 40s with like queer sexual repression and like some kind of like crazy like Monster in the Shadow kind of thing. The Val Lewton movies, we did The Uninvited recently, Mad Love with Pure Laurie, all of that kind of stuff. And the other side of that coin is weird Euro surrealist films.
That's what this show is for.
Exactly. And literally, like, while watching this movie, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna rewatch this one a lot. I feel this coming on. I'm gonna rewatch this movie a lot in the next like 2 to 3 years.
It's one of those movies where it's like you could cut together a really rad music video out of this. You know what I mean? Which is not shaded against the movie, but it just looks great, and that would be less challenging.
I'm sure. The visuals of it are so fucking good, and like Maki is a really interesting filmmaker because he's just shoving a lot into here. In the way that I feel like first films tend to do that, in the way like Repo Man does that, in the way like Sorry to Bother You does that. But this is like, he's been directing since like the 60s, and this is 82. He's like well down the line at this point. Still had another like 30 years to go. And this movie's fucking crazy. Like, it's full of great visual ideas, it's full of great conceptual ideas, and it's full of great like genre ideas that are getting like executed beautifully. There's a run through the hospital to try and find and catch someone who's missing, and they just run through a giant like catacomb full of like bloody bed sheets that are just hung up everywhere.
It's really beautiful.
It's stunning. Also, for some reason, even though this is a French movie and set in an undisclosed European country in which some of the townsfolk don't speak French, but the majority of them do speak French, every sign in the hospital is in English.
Oh, I guess I didn't notice that, but yeah, you're right.
It's very, very bizarre in that way. And it's like all kind of like just dialed in to deeply unnerve you. Well, at the same time, I found the main characters of Nora and Jock to be not just like empty ciphers like I would expect
No, not at all. Not
in a
at
movie
all.
like this. And I found their relationship actually like really interesting and really compelling. And I really, 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 really wanted them to get away and be safe.
Yeah. No, so the earliest thing that we get that's like a body snatcher moment is a bus driver seems to be in a trance and he basically pins someone against a wall, killing them. We also get this kid who falls into the underground river and comes out different, and we start to get more and more of that. There are moments when we get close on one of these people's pupils and you see the faces of other people, I think presumably dead people from the past inside of their pupils. And we have what seems like it might be kind of an alien in the form of these like glowing underwater worm things. Did you understand this body snatcher element in a literal way?
I did to a degree. I will say I found the one thing in this movie that I found like that didn't fully work for me were those eye close-ups and that like zoom into a face inside the eye. That felt a little Scooby-Doo to me in a way that I was like, that's cute, but okay. And they do it a lot, especially in the latter half of the movie, as more people in the town start to not be acting like themselves. It appears to me that for some reason on this ceremony day, on this Day of the Dead, that as people in the town die, their bodies are taken over by the like roaming spirits of the others who have died in that town. And so there's a lot of people. A priest comes up to a woman to dance at one point and says, "Don't you know who I am?" And she says, "No." And he's like, "I'm Pierre," or whatever, fucking French name. And she's like, "That's not possible. Pierre's dead." And then her husband walks over and shoots the priest in the head. And all the while, the doctor of the town, who for the longest time we don't see they're intentionally obscuring his face in like really fun, really cool ways. He holds up like an X-ray of a skull over his own face, so you don't see it for a lot of the scenes. It's really, really fun. Appears to be keeping one of these kind of like zonked out people just as a woman in his asylum, and we kind of then learn that it's his wife, and he's planning on bringing her back to life by having his nurse, who is in love with him, commit suicide so that she can then inhabit the body of his wife so that she'll be in love with him. That's going on. And then there's also like the like glowing blue worms that are just, I assumed that those were like, oh, those are the souls of the townsfolk that are inhabiting the bodies, but it doesn't seem to be that, because they're also then just dissolving bodies once they come in contact with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about. But and then it ends with this big like religious ceremony of the dead now inhabiting the entire town, all coming together at the church. So it kind of feels like this happens every year.
Oh, maybe. That didn't occur to me. I actually really liked the faces and the eyes, because to me, the movie has something to say about the ways in which we remember or carry the dead with us all the time. I don't know what it's saying about it exactly, but that's what it made me think of. Like the idea that the dead are always with us and we carry them. And I don't know. It's and the ways that death interrupts life, because this is a festival of death and it's like a big party, and then the dead sort of gradually take over that. And I don't know what it is. I can't really put a finger on it because it's surrealism, but it felt like something in that territory to me. But I also was like, maybe these worms are like aliens. I don't know. I don't know what these are.
They could be anything. Sure, whatever. I mean, I love how the townsfolk are always like that. They're just always like that. At one point, the doctor is kind of explaining his theory to the cop And the cop is like, this sounds ridiculous. This doesn't make any sense to me. And the doctor's like, have you ever wondered why we bury our dead in the mountainside so deep, or why we put them in like iron coffins as if they were gonna like come back?
Mhm.
It seems like they're coming back once a year. I also really love, and elements that reminded me of like, the first third of Beau is Afraid or the entirety of After Hours, how at the beginning of this movie, Nora is outrageously frantic, runs out of her house, which has a giant insect mural like sculpture out front that's never addressed, but is very cool. There's a lot of shit like that in this movie. And all of the townsfolk are like abrasive at best. They're like abrasive, if not rude, if not like bumping into her, if not groping her, if not like making sexual advances on her. Like very, 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 very odd. And that's like baseline. That's like the beginning. And so when it like ramps up, and then there's like roving gangs of teenagers in pig masks robbing and killing people, it gets really crazy.
It's
Something
cool.
that I really love about the scope of this movie and about the construction of this movie is that we get a lot of scenes that feel like just episodic moments from around the town that kind of like broaden your perspective of the town.
Mm-hmm.
That people will talk about like dead loved ones that we've never met and we have no context for, but which hold like great importance over their story that you're now privy to. Like we'll get little bits of the Boy Scouts and them playing their game, or we'll get a look into the life of a single mother whose husband is dead and now come back in the body of a different man who she is then forced to kill. And all of these scenes could just be random, unrelated little tidbits from around town to kind of like build out the world. But every single time, either Nora or Jock will run into the scene because they're being chased by something, and they'll interrupt it, and then they'll run right back out, and the movie will go back out with them.
Yeah.
It's really delightful, and it's a great way of incorporating that like novelistic view of this town in that kind of like Stephen King way of getting to know everyone in the
like
town.
Salem's Lot kind of way. Yeah, that's interesting. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the Spoon River anthology, which are all poems from the point of view of ghosts in the cemetery of a small town in New England.
Beautiful.
Oh, a beautiful book of poems. You would love it. There's also this French miniseries called The Returned from maybe 20 years ago. That was really good. There's only one. It's like a miniseries. So there's just one series of it. And it's a small, beautiful town in rural France where one day a ton of dead people just come back to life and return to their own lives. And they don't know where they've been, and they don't remember dying, and no one knows why they're back. And it's just about the dead en masse trying to like rejoin the living in this small town. It's very strange.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Did you understand why Nora and Jock are in danger? I have to admit I didn't.
It's from the jump, she is stressed about the dream, and so she's going to get him to be like, something's bad's happening. Let's just leave town. Let's just leave town, and that's the goal and that's the aim. But very quickly he's like, no, my friend's kid is hurt. Let's take him to the hospital. And as soon as they get to the hospital, they split up to talk to the doctors and the other to go inform the police of what's happened to this kid. And then we get into the like kind of Kafka-esque bureaucratic hell of the hospital, where like the kid and his dad disappear. So no one's. It kind of has like the 1940s gaslighting kind of plot of like she's a hysterical woman talking about her dreams and telling the cop that like I had a premonition bad dream and this kid's hurt, takes him to the hospital. They can't find the kid anywhere. And so now the cop just like takes everything out on her and decides that she and her boyfriend are the like scourge of this town. Meanwhile, like that bus driver who kills a man at like the first like or second scene of the movie, a cop comes up to him and is like, "Oh my God, what happened? You never would have done this. You're a great bus driver. How did this happen?" And the bus driver gets up and walks away. And then we see him scenes later just walking around. And you're like, these cops are just chasing this one woman and not the person they watched commit homicide.
Yeah.
Got it. It seems
so
like
it
that.
Really, they're just really trying to get out of town, but they keep getting waylaid by various things and different robbers or whoever are chasing them. And
they're primarily being chased by the police and this one nefarious doctor that we don't exactly know what he's up to until the end.
The other element of this that I love is the score, which very much
so fucking cool.
Which kind of it's not very 80s, it's very 70s to me, which is better in my personal taste. Not don't get mad, listener. I just like 70s scores more than 80s scores. It kind of reminds me of like Fulci, like kind of feels like the score from The Beyond. I loved it.
We get like a really incredible, overwhelming sound design with these really deep, bassy, like foreboding, like horns through the whole movie, and then we'll occasionally get these interjections of like giallo score that's like crazy bombastic and crazy loud. Yeah, and it's super cool. And then it'll go away, and then 5 scenes later, that exact track will come back on. But yeah, it is very like Rizzolandi or like Ennio Morricone or like, Goblin in that way. It's fucking awesome. It's really, really cool. I saw someone describe it as by saying this movie only features 2 songs on repeat, and I'm certain that they were written for other movies.
It feels that way. It does feel that way. I liked this movie, although I did find it challenging. I can't think of very many people that I would recommend this to besides our general listener. But like in my personal life, I don't, there's not a lot of like straight down the line horror people that I'd be like, you have to see Litan right away.
I mean, all the more reason why it's probably like such an oddity and has been so hard to come by, but also why it's been so beloved by like people on Letterboxd and like kind of gotten a cult following over there, because the art house crowd that wants a fancy French surrealist film is going to be annoyed by all the horror elements. And the horror crowd, I don't know if they have, if it has enough shock and gore and logic for that. It's somewhere in between, and I find that space magical and inspiring and enlightening. Yeah, I mean, I've really liked this movie, not nearly as much as I did, though. So I feel very like, I've got my little Litan island. I've got my Litan passport. I will be returning a few times a year.
Do you know who loved it? I logged into Letterboxd to see what people were saying about it, and it doesn't have a lot of reviews. Dylan Dawson, former guest Dylan Dawson, loved it, and I was like, of course. Like, that's who this movie is for.
Yeah. Basically, if you listen to this podcast, you're gonna fucking love this movie, and you should like rush to check it out.
It's
but
cool.
I feel like if your bag is like Conjuring movies, this might not be for you.
Perhaps not. I would agree.
If you're a stand-up L, maybe don't see Litan. Or maybe, dude, you'll find out that you like other stuff.
Do you know what would you pair this with for a double feature?
Oh
I have
God.
a crazy answer that is like emotional more than it is logical.
Okay, you go first.
This is crazy because they have really nothing in common, but I feel like it would make a great pairing with the movie Psychomania from 1972.
Oh yeah, the biker movie.
Yeah, a movie that I love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the music, the film quality, or something.
Maybe it's the masks.
Maybe it's the masks. Yeah, I don't know. That was the movie that came to mind for me.
I feel like
The Wickerman would also be incredible.
The Wickerman,
for more obvious reasons.
The Wickerman's a very obvious one. And I think that would be phenomenal. Pairing this with After Hours, I think would be super fun. Pairing this with Messiah of Evil, I think would also be super fun.
Ooh, yeah.
A Radiance double bill. Honestly, I would probably, this is so fucking predictable of me, but this is exactly in the way that I was like, there's 2 kinds of movies that I bring to this podcast, this movie is the like synthesis of the two, the middle ground. Carnival of Souls. I would Carnival of Souls, and this would be a really fun double feature.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Like this into Carnival of Souls. Since Carnival of Souls kind of just starts.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun. Because there's also like there's a ceremony of the dead, there's a dance of the dead, there's like, you know, they're being pulled by premonitions and dreams. There's, you know, aching paranoia, men trying to rape women. Which there is no successful rape in this movie. There's no successful sexual assault in this movie. There's just a lot or a handful of attempted, and it's icky and gross, but all the people that attempt it get murked. They deserve it. This movie is really fun. I'm super excited to watch it again, and I'm super excited to watch more Jean-Pierre Mocky films. He has one that is not in this Radiance set, but I'm dying to see, called Solo, not the Ron Howard Star Wars movie.
Oh no.
That is apparently about a leftist revolutionary terrorist group that murders a bunch of old wealthy people at an orgy. And are then on the run, and the apathetic apolitical brother of one of them comes back to town and gets caught up in the middle of this, and like inadvertently has to join the cause to help like protect himself.
That sounds good.
Sounds awesome. Maki was like very, 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 very lefty, making very weird little art films, and I'm so excited to go see like 17 more of his movies.
Yeah, I really liked this. Let's pivot and play our favorite game. Have they seen it? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. This person came into my head out of the pure blue sky. Do you think Nicole Kidman, AMC's spokeswoman, has seen this film?
Ain't no way.
She's a cinemaphile, right? She loves directors.
She is a big cinephile, but I really feel like I don't know what kind of release this has gotten in Australia. I feel like, and definitely not in Nashville, I feel like unless you're living in France, this probably didn't break through for a lot of people. I feel like she would dig it.
She would like it, I think. She would like surrealism in general. I bet she loves Buñuel. You know, I bet she likes Weekend by Godard. I think she is that kind of girly.
Do you imagine her and her husband, Keith Urban, curling up on the couch in their Nashville home, smoking a big joint, and then putting on fucking Litan and Weekend as a double feature?
I think she does it by herself. I don't think he's doing it with her. I don't know if you remember. I mean, sure you don't. But on one of our very first episodes, we did Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is, of course, a Nicole Kidman movie. And we did Keith Urban for Have They Seen It? And I was like, he probably went to the premiere and was like, well, that's a weird one, babe. And then one of our listeners confirmed, you know, like that he was at the premiere of it with her. And so he has seen it, like basically confirmed that he saw Killing of a Sacred Deer because he was at the premiere. I hope I'm not being classist, and maybe I'm not because he's very rich, of course, but it's like, I don't think he's watching this kind of surrealist film.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, she might be. I think she would like it. I think she'd dig it. This is very much a like Euro art house horror film, and like to the nth degree. It is as art house as it is horror. It's got a lot of weird medical stuff going on, and it's reminding me of an upcoming movie that is also a very weirdo art house horror film with weird, strange medical stuff going on, and that is Cuckoo.
Can't wait to see that.
Cannot wait to see that. From Tillman Singer, who is the director who also directed 2018's Lose. Do you think Tillman Singer has seen Litan?
I think, not to brag, I think that we are ahead of the curve on this one by like a year or two. So I think that they will see it then. Because this isn't even out really in the United States. You can rent it on Amazon Prime, but that's it. You know what I mean? No one that we know has seen it except for Dylan Dawson, basically. So I feel like we're just like a little bit ahead of the curve on this one. So it's going to take her a year or two, but they will see it, but haven't currently.
Yeah. Hunter Schafer probably absolutely has not seen this.
No way.
But I think Hunter Schafer would love this movie.
She would love it.
I also think if you're planning to pregame Cuckoo coming up soon, it's coming out this coming week. This episode drops. It'll be out on Friday. Go watch Litan and then go watch Cuckoo. You'll have a good time.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm going to pick someone French because I think we've determined that only French people would have seen this, basically. So what about French pop star and actress Vanessa Paradis? Do you think that she saw this?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a pretty strong likelihood. I mean, she was in Knife Plus Heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
That director is absolutely, Jan Gonzalez has absolutely seen this movie.
For sure. 100%.
Jan Gonzalez was breastfed by this movie. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think she's definitely seen this movie.
I would agree.
I don't know if her sister and Johnny Depp have seen this movie.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. You mean her daughter?
Oh, yeah, her daughter, yeah. Because she was with Johnny Depp.
Yes, she's Johnny Depp's ex.
But her sister's also an actress.
I guess.
Yeah, Inside.
Yes, you're right. That's her. That's right. Yes. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think they've seen it. I don't think that Johnny Depp has seen this, even though he was married to Vanessa Paradis.
Yeah.
Unless he saw it in France on a trip to France. Why are we talking about him? We don't like him. We don't need to talk about him. Vanessa Paradis is a yes.
Well, this is very much a folk horror movie. It's also being curated by Kayla Janice, who like put out like the definitive folk horror documentary. And for contemporary audiences, the concept of folk horror has been revived by two things, which is her documentary and then also the extreme mainstream success of Robert Eggers' The Witch and to a smaller degree The Lighthouse. Do you think
Midsummer, I would say.
Oh, and and significantly
Midsummer.
Yeah. But do you think that Robert Eggers has seen Litan?
You know what? I don't
Your
think
cinema
so.
boyfriend?
He is my boyfriend. We do have sex. We are married. That's a fact. You can't sue me.
You have a cameo in Nosferatu. You are the rat in Nosferatu.
Yeah, I play rat number 3 in Nosferatu. You know what? I think he's very cool, very well watched, very sophisticated, but my gut tells me no, because this is just so rare in the US.
Yeah. It's possible.
So I would say no. It is possible.
I feel like he would dig it. I mean, it has been floating around on YouTube for a little while. I think that explains the like Letterboxd fandom that's developed. The like cult of people on Letterboxd that like discover cult movies are always doing so because they'll just be floating around on YouTube. Some freak will have uploaded it to YouTube.
True. The version I found on YouTube though has no English subtitles, so I don't speak French, so I couldn't watch it there.
Cool. I'm sure there's a lot of like college age film stoners that are putting this on just fully in French, being like, okay.
Yeah. It's immersion, French immersion.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Bloodhaus. Please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on X or Instagram at BloodhousePod or email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. Drusilla, where are you?
You can find me and my work over at sisterhidedesign.com. You can pick up the new book that I did the artwork for, The Book of Elsewhere by Keanu Reeves and China Mieville, at your local bookseller. It is like... I've seen it at Costco. I've seen friends text me that like it's being sold at like subway stops in New York City right now. It's like I'm so beyond honored and humbled that I get to work on books, which has been a lifelong dream, and it gets to be so big. I like putting skulls on things. Let me put skulls on things. You can also follow me on Letterboxd. If you look for Sister Hyde or Drusilla Adeline, you can follow me on there, and you can see what I thought of the Fairley Brothers' latest effort, Ricky Stenicki, with John Cena. And you can also follow me on Letterboxd if you look for Hyde Sister. What about you, Josh? How can people put on masks and follow you around in the world?
I'm at Joshua Conkel on Letterboxd, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Next week, we are watching a childhood favorite of mine, one that I haven't seen since I was a child, however, so I could feel any kind of way about it. What is it?
But next, a silly one.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be watching a movie directed by Bob Balaban, in which Randy Quaid plays a mentally unwell person. And that's going to be a really, really impressive feat. I'm excited to see what he does with that kind of a role, because that will really mean that he has like intense range. We will be watching the late 80s Vestron video classic, Parents.
You know, I've seen Randy Quaid's sex tape, so we'll have lots to talk about next week.
I've just seen him have sex in Last Picture Show, so.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.